Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung on Friday thanked Hyundai Motor Group for what he described as a bold and difficult decision. President Lee was referring to the group's massive investment pledge of 9 trillion Korean won, roughly $6.2 billion in the Saemangeum area of Jeollabuk-do province. Hyundai Motor Group and the government signed a memorandum of understanding outlining the investment pledge on the same day. With this multi-billion-dollar investment, the government aims to transform the area into a center for robotics, hydrogen, and artificial intelligence. Speaking later at a town hall with residents of Jeollabuk-do province, President Lee reiterated that balanced regional development is not only a policy priority but a survival strategy for the Korean economy. President Lee Jae-myung is set to embark on a 4-day trip to Asia next week for summit diplomacy. The Blue House announced on Friday that the president will head to Singapore this weekend for talks with Singaporean President Tharman Shanmugaratnam and Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. The agenda includes cooperation on AI and nuclear energy. He will then head to the Philippines on Tuesday and meet President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. They are expected to discuss cooperation in the defense industry, trade and nuclear energy. The White House confirmed Thursday that U.S. President Donald Trump remains open to dialogue with North Korea without any preconditions, signaling a potential opening for renewed diplomacy. This follows North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's address at the Ninth Workers' Party Congress, where he said that Pyongyang has no reason not to get along with the United States if Washington withdraws its hostile policy and respects North Korea's current status as a nuclear power. Meanwhile, South Korea's chief nuclear envoy Jang Yeon-do confirmed in Washington on Thursday local time that while the U.S. maintains an open stance including the no preconditions aspect, there is currently no active working-level contact between Washington and Pyongyang. Jang added that Seoul will continue its role as a facilitator to support a resumption of bilateral talks. South Korea's National Assembly has pushed through a key judicial reform bill after cutting off an opposition filibuster on Friday, approving changes that allow constitutional appeals of court rulings. The bill, one of the Democratic Party's 3 judicial reform measures, was approved in a floor vote shortly after the debate was cut off. Once the mandatory 24-hour period required under Assembly rules for terminating a filibuster had elapsed. Following the vote, lawmakers moved on to the next item on the agenda, a bill to expand the number of Supreme Court justices. The People Power Party immediately launched another filibuster, continuing its resistance to what it calls an overhaul that could undermine the country's judicial system. South Korea's content industry posted a record-breaking performance in exports in 2024, driven by the continued global surge in Korean culture. According to the Culture Ministry on Thursday, exports for that year reached $14.08 billion, up 5.5% from a year earlier, marking the highest figure since the ministry began compiling the data, and a second consecutive year of record growth. The growth was led by the gaming industry, accounting for 60.4% of total content exports, followed by the music industry. The content industry's total revenue climbed 2.1% from a year earlier to $107.2 billion, driven by robust export growth. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.